Welcome back to another cubic function lesson with me, Mr. Simons, doing solutions for 325, not the 325 PM, but number 325 of worksheet 1,14, which is still foundation practice. And now our focus will be on, can we find points of contact and can we substitute in the first derivative, right? And again, my cubic function trap detector. Key spotting the clues and identifying the triggers. So trigger words give you values with F, means you have to substitute those values. Right, so F2 means substitute x equal to 2. Right, so f of x will always give me my points, values, or coordinates. Once I use the word point of contact, which will appear a lot in this problems number 325, I need to know I'm going to first be required to find the first derivative and then substitute in that first derivative. So when I see the word point of contact, touches the graph, tangent to the curve, line is a tangent to the curve, touches at one point, I'm technically looking for the gradient of a tangent. Right, final warning, make sure you know the difference between finding the points and the gradient. Right, so let's look at problem number 3. Given f of x equal 2x cubed plus 7x squared minus 17x minus 10. 3.1, determine the point of contact at x equal 1. Right, so we have two graphs that meet at this specific point. My apologies. We need the y value and the x value at that exact point where the two graphs make contact with each other, right? So we're going to substitute 1 into the equation, original equation. So f of x becomes 2 times 1 cubed plus 7 times 1 squared minus 17 times 1 minus 10. 1 times 2 gives me 2, 7 times 1 gives me 7, minus 17 minus 10. So minus 27 plus 7 gives me minus 20 plus 2 gives me minus 18. So my point of contact where the two graphs would meet would be x value 1, y value negative 18. Right, so later on when we're finding the full equation of a tangent, very important that we know how to find the point of contact before we find the equation of a tangent. Right, so 1 mark substitution, 1 mark for the point of contact, which technically means we want the coordinates. No? Let's look at 3.2. Determine the value of f prime 1. So f prime meaning I have to find the first derivative and then substitute 1 in the first derivative. So we have f of x equal 2x cubed plus 7x squared minus 17x minus 10. First mark, can we find the first derivative? So therefore it becomes 3 times 2, which is 6. 3 minus 1, which then gives me 2. 2 times 7, which gives me 14. 2 minus 1, which becomes 1. 1 times negative 17 gives me negative 17, and 1 minus 1 becomes 0. So x to the power 0 falls away, and the first derivative of constant always equals 0. So 1 mark for finding the first derivative correctly. Now we have to substitute the value 1 into the first derivative. So if I take 1, that becomes 6 times 1 squared plus 14 times 1 minus 7. That gives me 6 plus 14, which is 20. 20 minus 17 is 3. That's my correct answer, another mark. All right. Now what have you found? Even though we didn't ask for it, you found the gradient of the tangent, meaning a straight line that makes contact with the cubic function. There where they make contact, the gradient of that line would be 3. And it's at the point where x equal to 1. So whenever we substitute the first value into the first derivative, we find the gradient of a tangent or straight line that makes contact at one point with another graph. All right, let's look at number 4. Determine the point of contact at x equal 2. So I'm going to take 2 and substitute straight in the equation given. So x there becomes 2, x cubed, 2 cubed, x squared, 2 squared, x becomes 2. So 2 cubed is 8 times 2 gives me 16. 2 squared becomes 4. 4 times 3 gives me 12. 2 times negative 32 would give me negative 64 plus 15. That gives me 28. If I add 16 plus 12, 28 plus 15 would give me 43. Minus 64 plus 43 then gives me negative 21. So my point of contact where these two meet at that point is where x is 2 and the y value would be minus 21. 1 mark for substitution, 1 mark for correct answer. All right. So I hope you follow. Next question. Determine the value of f prime 2. Right, so again, first derivative, and we must substitute the value 2 in the first derivative. Not in the original equation, but the first derivative. Be careful of that. No? So f of x, they gave me 2x squared plus 3x squared, 2x cubed, sorry, plus 3x squared minus 32x plus 15. 3 times 2 would give me 6. 3 minus 1 gives me 2. 2 times 3 gives me 6. 2 minus 1 gives me 1. 1 times negative 32, negative 32. X falls away and 15 becomes 0. So if I substitute 2 in that equation, now I have 2 squared times 6. 6 times 2 minus 32. It gives me 4 times 6 is 24. 2 times 6 is 12 minus 32. Gives me 36 minus 32, which equals 4. So 1 mark for first derivative, second mark for substitution, and third mark for getting the correct answer. Take note, although I didn't ask it, I'm now preparing you what you just found. You found the gradient of the tangent would be 4 at the point x equal 2. So where my cubic function and that straight line that touches it at one point meet, that gradient of that straight line would be 4, while x equal to 2. All right, I hope you understand. Look at number 5. Given f of x equal 2x cubed minus 9x squared plus 7x plus 6, determine the point of contact at x equal minus 1. So again, I'm going to substitute minus 1 in the equation, so that gives me minus 1 cubed minus 1 squared, 7 minus 1. It gives me minus 2. It should read Mawayat minus 9 minus 7 plus 6. Minus 11 minus 18 plus 6 gives me minus 12. So my point of contact, minus 1, minus 12. 1 for substitution, 1 for correct answer. And take note, point of contact will always be written in coordinate form. Right? Now from here, let's look at the second question. Determine the value of f prime minus 1. So again, we are telling you, you will find the first derivative and substitute minus 1 in the first derivative. So we're given 2x cubed minus 9x squared plus 7x plus 6. 3 times 2 gives me 6. 3 minus 1, 2. 2 times negative 9, negative 18. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 times 7 gives me 7. X and 6 falls away. So there we have x squared becomes minus 1 squared. There minus 1, 7. That gives me 6 plus 18 plus 7, 25 plus 6 gives me 31. So the gradient of my tangent equal 31 at point x equal minus 1. Right, so I hope you enjoy the lesson. I hope I've simplified it for you and you'll be able to work and practice this over and over till you know it. Right, in the next video we will be looking at more problems for the worksheet. I wish you nothing but the best. All glory to God. He allows me to teach and I'm able to help you. God bless you. Bye.